Ryan Jarrell here for MMA News, and my next guest earned a UFC contract this past Tuesday at Dana White's Contender Series with a round 2 TKO win over AJ Cunningham. And of course, it is the Ninja Steven Nguyen himself. Steven, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Just like I was telling you earlier, I'm just recovering right now, man. Just relaxing. Slept in all day today. That was nice.
I can just
How was
imagine.
that?
Yeah, it's been 2 days now. So has it sunk in?
It's sunk in, but I'm like, man, like I would say this whole last week was kind of like a blur, man. Kind of just like it all just happened so fast. But yeah, it's sunken in, and you know, when I see my family this weekend, I think that's what's gonna really hit because I'm gonna go back home to Wichita this weekend and see my family there.
Yeah, very cool. That's going to be a hero's welcome home. There's no doubt about that, my man. Obviously, well documented. Everyone knows this was your third Dana White Contender Series opportunity. You won your last one. Did you feel even more pressure here going into this third fight?
I mean, what do you think, man? Yeah, like obviously going in for the third time, like if you don't get the job done that night, man, you know, you most likely, there might be no other chances for you to get into the UFC if you have that many tries. So I knew what was on the line.
And with your mindset going in, Steven, was it, UFC or bust? Because obviously the sport of MMA has just continued to grow and grow and grow. And the UFC is at the top of the food chain. There's no doubt about that. But even if you got a UD win and you looked great in there and they didn't sign you, would you have been okay fighting for Bellator or PFL one?
Look, I like to live in the moment, so I can't tell you exactly what I'm going to do because right now I'm signed to the UFC,
Yeah.
and I'm not worried about that. But uh, you know, I was just I wasn't I was so focused. I wasn't even thinking about that part. I was so focused. I was just like, this is my only time. I just lived in the moment. My coach told me like just focus on the next 3 seconds. That's it. Don't think ahead. Don't think what you're gonna do after the fight. Just do what you can. And I just stuck to that, man. And like I haven't even thought about that to be honest. So I'm in the UFC, and that's all that matters to me right now.
Yeah, no doubt. It's just interesting. I talked to so many fighters that, were on the cusp of, making it into the UFC. And I love hearing that mindset of, if you do or you don't, if you'd be happy if you didn't make it in, but it doesn't matter. You're in now. 2 year layoff
Right.
before this fight here with AJ. Did that play a factor at all?
That played factors more mentally, I would say. Um, Not physically, because physically, my man, I was training every single day. I was working on different aspects of fighting, and I try to get multiple fights booked actually within those 2 years. Every single one either fell through or my opponent would get injured. Something would happen, right? But like I said, I mean, everything happens for a reason. That's why I'm here. Uh, but yeah,
Your opponent, AJ Cunningham, how tough is he?
the toughest guy I fought, man. That guy could take a hit, can he?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I was hitting him with everything I got, man. And I mean, I felt like I put him out in the first round. Should have been over then, but yeah, he's tough, man. His head is made out of like I don't know,
Yeah. I,
granite, something crazy.
I had to imagine that you were going to say that this is probably the toughest guy you ever fought because you teed off on him and you landed so many big shots. Let's talk about the end of the
I
first
think about
round
hey,
there. How is that doing? Is that
it's better. I can finally open and close it now. Yesterday it was like just stuck in this position, but
are you on the shelf
no,
for
it's
a
good.
little while because of it?
No, no. I don't know broken bones or anything like that. No cuts. Just a pretty bruised body, I would say.
Okay. Fair enough. Let's talk about the end of that first round because, like you just said, you almost had him out of there, but there was a low blow that was right before the end of the fight, or excuse me, the end of the round where you almost finished him. How did that low blow graze you? How difficult was that to kind of readjust from and get back focused?
So that low blow, like I felt it, but like I was actually ready to go. If the ref didn't say anything, I was ready to go. But I think I gave it maybe 15 seconds. Took a couple deep breaths. I was like, let's just go right back to it, baby. So it didn't affect my like physical. Like that was fine. I was actually ready to keep going. I was grabbing down there to fix it, not say that like I'm hurt. I was just fix it real quick and then pull my shorts up real quick and fight. But Mark Smith. He did his thing.
At 1, 2 more seconds, how much longer do you think you would have needed for that fight to be over?
Man, he's tough, right? So I mean, he could have maybe survived it a little bit, but I'm telling you, I just wouldn't have stopped, and I think it would have been out cold. So yeah, a couple more seconds probably.
It really looked to Steven like the game plan for you in this fight was to kind of utilize your jab and play off of that. Is that accurate? What did the Fortis team formulate going into this fight?
Well, obviously, I felt like he was going to try to take me down at some point where he found out he can't really hang with me in the stand up. Um, but I mean, the game plan was just to really kind of that wasn't actually my game plan was to brawl, man. Like I wasn't just that was my game. My game plan was more to like go in there, move around him, stick and move, be faster than him, use my footwork, set up my kicks. It's more like a sprawl and brawl type of thing. But I ended up just going there and just I switched my game plan literally the first like right before like the bell rang. It's like I had to finish this guy. I just had to finish this guy, and I just went for it right off the bat.
Yeah, you said in the post fight interview, kill or be killed, right?
Yeah, exactly what you just said.
So run me through the finish when you ultimately got him out of there. The ref stepped in and waved it off. How did you know you had him on the ropes? What were the combos that were landing?
Well, that was another thing. Like I he was still standing and we were still throwing, but just like I said before, like I just wouldn't have stopped. Like I would have kept going. I was landing some good shots with both hands. I mean, it was such a fast exchange though, so I can't really take you through like the thought process. But the thought process was just to hit him as fast as I could and hit him hard, man. And I was winging them things. So, Mark's. I felt like he was taking a lot of damage anyways, though. So I think it was a good stoppage.
How confident did you feel after you got your hand raised that okay, this is it? I'm getting a contract. Because if you didn't get a contract after that performance, I think the whole MMA universe would have just had a riot on
Yeah,
their hands.
you're right, right. Well, I went over and talked to Dana, and I looked at him. He's like, incredible. He told me incredible fight, and he told me that hey, like that you should have won in the first round. That's what he told me. So that's when I knew, man. That's when I knew. I knew coming into the Contender Series for the third time what was expected. You know, so I knew I got the job done.
Have you watched it back yet? Have you watched the tape?
Yeah, I watched it a few times with my family, like on the actual like big screen, because I've seen it on my phone a little bit, just because I immediately started studying myself. I mean, I have a whole list right now that I'm already writing down of all my weaknesses that I need to work on. But I went to study, but then I actually just watched it on the big screen with the fam, so that was nice.
What did you think of Michael Bisping's comments that he said? He basically said like your last fight was kind of like a glorified sparring match, and he wanted to see more of that like killer instinct out of you. You definitely showed that in this fight. But what was your just takeaway from what he had to say?
No, I have, I think he's a great commentator. He was just commentating the fight. Um, but yeah, I mean, comments, whatever. I did what I had to do. None of that really matters as much if it's negative or positive. Yeah, Michael Bisping, I didn't really have any opinions on anything he said. I think he was just doing his job, commentating.
What is it like fighting in the Apex in such an intimate venue versus obviously a bigger venue with a bunch of screaming fans?
Well, I'll say, I mean, I hope my next fight won't be at the Apex because I just fought there so many times. I am one of those guys. Feed off the crowd, feed off the energy. It makes me fight even harder than I did tonight. But yeah, I mean, either way, I mean, a fight is a fight. But I personally, I'm a guy that likes fighting in big arenas.
Mhm. What was the celebratory meal? What did you go out and do after you got the contract?
Man, I went out there and had a. I went to. Have you heard of a place called Giordano's in Vegas? It's like a deep
Giordano's.
dish pizza place.
Okay, yeah, my
Yeah,
kind of
so
spot.
it's Chicago style deep dish pizza. The cheese just melts and it just comes out. Yeah, it was great. It was
Is that
good.
typically your go-to pasta pizza?
No, we wanted to go to like a really nice restaurant, but I had like 20 people come out, so like we would have to like reserve a room, and it was just too much of a headache. So we just went to Giordano's and got some deep dish pizza, man. I mean, that's simple as that.
Yeah, very cool. Well deserved, man. Let's talk about your new division here. UFC featherweight. Volkanovski is the king of that division right now. When you look at just the division as a whole, how do you think you fit in?
I'm not like featherweight, man. It's so competitive, right? We got such many good talent coming up right now. Uh, as far as the division, I'm really just focused on myself, man. Like I know everybody that my next opponent, whoever I fight in the UFC, this is the best of the best in the world. And right now, I'm just going to be focused on myself. I'll fit in there how I fit in there, but that's why I was telling you before. Like I don't even think that far ahead. Like I'm gonna have to I'm focused on my next opponent, and then that's it. And then you can talk to me like, all right, well, who? This is your opponent now. Let's talk about this. Like I see myself getting better and moving up the ranks. That's absolutely for sure.
Are you a pretty decent sized featherweight compared to the guys you've seen in the UFC? I feel like you'd be on the bigger side, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm 5'11", and this last fight was probably one of the biggest I've felt. I've retained a lot of more muscle, and in the off season, I mean, I'm really working on my powerlifting right now, and I'm working with Mike Scatia. He's our strength and conditioning coach, and yeah, I'm working on getting even bigger than I am right now. So yeah, I feel pretty big as far as size.
What's the heaviest you get?
So on the day of the fight, I'm about 165. Like in the cage, I'm about 164, 163, 164. So I would think that's quite normal.
Yeah, I think so too. If you're out of camp and you're just kind of eating what you want and just having maybe a little bit of a cheat on your diet or whatever, can you get north of 175?
Now that's a different story. Yes, yes. I'll when I'm like 15 weeks out from a training camp, 14 weeks out from a fight. Yeah, I'm probably like 175.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought because I feel like you're a pretty good sized featherweight. So I think you're going to fit right in here, man. I'm excited to see you in this division. Let me just get some predictions here from you because it looks like right now Volkanovski might be facing Topuria next for the title. As far as I'm concerned, right now I'm not sure anybody can beat Volk at 45. Is Topuria the guy? Do you think he can do it? Is there anyone else at 45 right now that you think can dethrone Volkanovski?
At 45, I don't think there's really anybody that can dethrone Volkanovski, to be honest, right now. He's just been such on a tear. But Ilya is the next big thing in that division. I would love to see that fight. I mean, you can't sleep on that guy, especially his boxing, man. It's
Well,
clean. I mean, Volkanovski can also box. I mean, he could do everything. So I think it'll be an exciting fight to watch. Um, and yeah, I'll definitely keep my eyes on that fight.
give me your Mount Rushmore of all time featherweights. Who would the top four be?
My favorite featherweight of all time is Max Holloway all day. I mean, I literally grew up watching him. I remember his very first UFC fight, when I was like an amateur and I was watching him fight. So I definitely have a lot of respect for him. And yeah, definitely one of my favorite fighters.
Did you hear what Connor just said recently about Volkanovski and the featherweight goat situation?
No, I haven't. I haven't, but I'm sure he says something crazy. So let me hear it.
So he basically said that he is the past featherweight goat and Volkanovski is the current featherweight goat. So at some point they're going to have to come and unify that. What are your thoughts just on Connor's greatness at 45?
This is my thoughts on Connor in general, man. He's been saying a lot of stuff. Isn't he supposed to fight Michael Chandler? Like what is all this stuff going on? This guy's over here trying to fight Volkanovski, and then he's gonna try to fight the welterweight champion. I mean, right now, I mean, obviously we all have respect for Connor. I mean, I'm not saying I'm talking about any of that. I'm just saying he's just kind of been talking a lot, man. So I don't have opinion on that, man. I don't have opinion on that.
Okay.
Well, if the fight happens, let's talk about it. Like when they sign the contract and like they announce it, all right, November 15th, then we can talk about it. But right now, like Connor's just talking to talk, in my opinion.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I'm not mad at that. I agree with you a lot as far as that's concerned. So as far as my Mount Rushmore featherweights go, I have Max in there. I have Volkanovski. I have Jose Aldo. Is Connor the fourth?
Uh ooh. I think so. I think you have to respect his name. He was a double champ, and he was one who dethroned Max Holloway and Jose Aldo a little bit earlier in their careers. I'm not sure if he can beat Max Holloway now, though, man. I'm telling you. But Yeah, he belongs in there.
Okay. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Hopefully, he can just fight again soon. Tell me, obviously, you're at one of the best gyms in the world, Fortis MMA. I have to imagine your main training partners might be Damon Jackson, my guy Ocho Peterson. Who are you typically getting working with when you're in camp?
Abdul Sawadi, EJ Johns, you know, um, yeah, like you said, Damon, Ocho, and I mean we have a lot of jiu-jitsu guys. We just have so many. Like you said that, and like 50 names just went through my head. I'm like, okay, hold on, slow down. We just have a lot of training partners, man, and our amateurs are even good. Like everybody's high level in there.
Were you at Ocho's last event? He opened up his own promotion, as I'm
Oh
sure you
yeah,
know.
so I haven't been to one of his events because I mean I've just been in training camp and like I missed out on it. I've sacrificed so much. I haven't like gone out to eat with friends at or anything either. Like I've just been whatever. So no, I haven't. But his next event, I'm going to be commentating for it. So
You
I'm excited
are.
for that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very cool. Very cool. I actually spoke with him about that as well. I do that in my neck of the woods. So who knows? Maybe it'll be you and me, the color guy and
that's
the
cool.
analyst for the next show.
I'm down. I'm down. You know me. Let's do it.
That'd be fun, man. As far as what is next for you, obviously you're going to go home, going to be around family. You're going to take a little time to rest and heal up, and then obviously jump back in and make your UFC debut. Forecast the future for me, Steven. What are we going to hope to see from you here in the next couple of months?
These next couple of months, obviously, like you said, I'm going to heal up. Once I'm done healing up, I'm going to focus on some weaknesses in my game. Just because you win a fight doesn't mean you did. Like, I mean, I did a great job. I got the job done, but I'm going to be going there. I'm going to assess it. I'm going to reevaluate it. I'm going to get back in the gym immediately and to fix those mistakes. Once I fix those mistakes and I evolved a little bit, I'm going to be ready to make my UFC debut because I don't want to be the same Steven Nguyen as even yesterday. I want to be better than that in my UFC debut because the level is just going to keep going higher, man. So I know I'm there. I know I'm there, but I'm just going to keep getting better. And when the time is right, you know, we're going to get it going. Hopefully within the next 6 months would be good.
All right. So hopefully early 2024, we can see you make your debut on
Yeah.
maybe a pay-per-view card, not at the Apex.
There you go. You read my mind. You read my mind. Hopefully.
I love it, my man. Well, listen, fantastic interviewing you here today. I appreciate your time. Congratulations on a very well-deserved contract. Excited to see you in the big show here. Before we do sign off, I want to give you the floor. If there's anyone you want to thank, anything you want to plug, floor is yours.
I mean, just want to thank all my supporters and especially my team and you and my management for, trying to give me a little bit of spotlight because, this means a lot to me and I've worked really hard for this moment, man. I've talked to you before on some of my other contenders fights and all this other stuff, but this one's literally the cherry on top. And I'm grateful and I'm ready to show the world who I am.